We're going to start our meeting now. Welcome to the April 22nd meeting of Manhattan Community Board 5 Land Use Housing and Zoning Committee. I'm Nancy Gosho, the chair of the committee, joined by my vice chair, Julie Tu, and our committee members who are present tonight in the room. Would you introduce yourself, please, starting with
Bernal Vikram,
Michael Greeley.
Tristan Haas,
Seth Wood, Kevin Frizz,
Zul Zolkowicz. Nodi Victor.
and online? Do we have anyone who was a member of this committee?
No.
Yeah, okay. Any items voted on at this meeting, will be voted on by the full board on Thursday, May 14th. So before we start our agenda, do any member of the public or committee members have any new land use housing and zoning business items? If you do, raise your hand and, Julie will call on you. Anyone have any new business before we start?
so the land use.
New business?
That it's called for land use of 55th and 7th. That's not considered new, or is that?
No, that's
Correct.
on the agenda.
Okay.
Anything that's on the agenda is not new business. These are items that we just want to get out of the way in case anyone has anything new not on our agenda or brought before the committee before. Anyone? Nobody. Nobody.
Nobody.
Okay, no one. Okay, so I'm chairing the meeting. And the meeting will run in this order. After each presentation, committee members will ask questions. Then we'll take questions and comments from the public. And while there's no time limit on comments, we ask that you speak succinctly and avoid repetition of a prior speaker. So if someone has already said something, you can say, I agree, and then add something else. But just repeating the same thing over and over again is really not helpful to the committee or to our time tonight. Please use the raised hand function if you're online, and Julie will call on you. After we complete the public questions and comments, we'll go into what is called our business session, where only committee members and board members can participate in the discussion. There'll be no further input from the public unless I recognize that person to speak. All of our board members that are not members of this committee will be promoted to panelists for business session. Is everyone online now a panelist that wants to be promoted?
Looks like it, yes.
Okay. Okay. Once we're done with the business session, I'll call for a motion, a second, and we'll take a vote. And after the last agenda item, we'll adjourn the meeting. So I just want to review that the purpose of our committee is to promote development that aligns with city goals and district needs. We evaluate proposals based on long-term public benefit, and we foster a collaborative, consensus-driven process among diverse stakeholders. Our role, Land Use Housing and Zoning Committee of Community Board 5, is to ensure land use and zoning reflect community needs and help build equitable, resilient, and thriving Midtown Manhattan neighborhoods. So tonight we have 3 items on our agenda, and we will have 3 resolutions to write. Presenters, public, and attendees and committee members, in the interest of time, let's try to aim for 30 minutes per agenda item. And so tonight we're going to start with our first agenda item, which is an application for 2 actions at 871 7th Avenue to facilitate the construction of a 71-story mixed-use building consisting of hotel, retail, and residential uses. This is about an authorization to provide a floor area bonus of 118,796 square feet in exchange for providing multiple transit improvements at the 50th Street Broadway substation, and an authorization to modify certain bulk regulations to accommodate that bonus floor area. Our lead committee member tonight is Yaron Nodi Victor, and he will lead off the presentation. Then we'll go to the presentation, then we'll go into comments, then comments and questions to the public, and then the business sessions.
Yes,
Thank you, Ron.
yeah, of course. I will keep it very brief. Before we get to the applicant, I will just reiterate what Nancy just said to orient the committee. The two questions before us, which are related, is the 20% floor area bonus as a result of subway improvement. That's what we're looking at. And then relatedly, the bulk regulation waiver that would need to be put in place for them to use that bonus. So that's what we're gonna hear about today. So I'll just kick it to the applicant. Sorry.
Sure. Good evening. Wesley O'Brien of Fried Frank here representing the applicant and Land Use Council to Extel, joined by Eli Kupsil of Extel Development, Max Powell of Bayer Blinder Bell Architects, and Abby Rudow of VHB, as well Aaron Kaihan from my offices here. If I can, I will share my screen. Okay, you should be seeing the presentation now.
Yeah.
Okay. So as noted, we are here to discuss two zoning authorizations for a subway improvement bonus to facilitate the construction of a mixed-use hotel, retail, and residential project at 871 7th Avenue, former Wellington Hotel site. The site is located at the northeast corner of the intersection of West 55th Street and 7th Avenue within a C66 zoning district within the theater subdistrict of Special Midtown. The site is outlined here in red, and it's part of a broader zoning lot that is outlined in blue and includes portions that extend into the mid-block C6 6.5 district. The existing site conditions are shown in this photo. The photo at the left looks directly at the site, northeast across the intersection of 55th and 7th Avenue. The photo at the right is looking southeast at the site across 7th Avenue. And we have a site plan here. The development site is shown in white at lot 1, with the remainder of the zoning lot shown as lots 8, 60, and 61. The proposed project will be a 484,000 square foot mixed-use building with approximately 24,000 square feet of retail at the ground floor, 55 parking spaces at the second floor level, 159,000 square feet of hotel use in the lower portions of the building, which is about 156 rooms, and 301,000 square feet of residential use in the upper floors of the building. That's approximately 130 units. And I'll pass it to Max to describe the project, the program in more detail.
Good evening. My name is Max O'Pah. I'm a partner here at Bayer Blinder Bell Architects. As you'll see in the upcoming slides, the massing approach is to create a podium at the street wall that relates to the buildings that are directly around us, and then shift the upper portion of the building to the west towards 7th Avenue and away from 55th Street. So let's go to the next slide. Let's start with the base of the building and the ground floor plan. The building addresses both streets at the building line. 7th Avenue is to the left side of the page. 55th Street is on the bottom of the page. And working around our site, starting along the 7th Avenue frontage, we are proposing retail space along the entire frontage along 7th Avenue. And as we turn the corner along 55th Street, we also turn the retail storefront one bay as well. Directly adjacent to that retail, just to the right of that in that purple color, is a new subway stair to replace the existing one that currently is located on the sidewalk. This stair accesses the 57th Street NQRW station, and Wesley will speak a little bit more about that later in the presentation. As we move further east, in yellow, we have the residential lobby and its associated spaces that you would typically find for a residential building, mail rooms, residential cores, bike rooms, lobby support spaces, those kind of spaces. And in blue, we have the hotel lobby and its associated spaces. Both of these lobbies are set back from the 55th Street side to accommodate a covered building entry area that provides space for pedestrian access from the sidewalk. And it also provides space for required reservoir spaces for the attended parking garage that is located on the second floor. So there's 6 reservoir spaces that you can see on the plan. The parking is served by 2 vehicular elevators that are also shown in blue there in those 2 rectangles. This configuration also provides a benefit to move taxi pickups and drop-offs off of 55th Street for residents, guests, and visitors, improving the safety on this busy street. We also see that this area as an active space, as a covered plaza with beautiful finishes, be well lit, marking this as really the primary entrance to the building. So we think it's actually a really important element of the project. On the right side, along 55th Street in gray, we have one required loading bay located as far away from 7th Avenue as possible, and that directly connects to the service elevators that are shown in gray there. Let's go to the next slide. So these sections show the programmatic stacking of the building. On the left is the section along 7th Avenue, and on the right is the section along 55th Street. Starting on the ground floor and moving our way upwards, the ground floor, as I mentioned in the previous slide, contains lobbies and retail spaces, as we just discussed. The second floor contains parking. Mechanical floors are sort of interspersed and distributed throughout the building, and they're noted in the dark gray colors. The primary hotel functions, which are shown in blue, are on the 4th through 23rd floors and include floors that contain ballrooms and meeting space, upper lobbies, amenities, and food and beverage spaces within the section that's noted in blue, as well as hotel rooms, of course. And then above the blue hotel stack, we have residential uses from the 25th to the 70th floors in yellow, including amenities on the 47th floor. The overall building height, including the bulkhead that's shown in gray at the top of the building, is approximately 1,050 feet. Next slide. So showing the same stacking in axonometric form, we can see the building massing and how the building steps in as it rises into a rectangular form. This allows us to utilize all of the setback roofs as outdoor space as the building steps back and goes up. The main building mass steps back from 7th Avenue 10 feet and steps back from 55th Street approximately 40 feet, and also steps away from the easterly property line by 50 feet on the residential levels. This placement allows us to maintain the frontage along 7th Avenue while also offering a natural vertical break through the setbacks to establish a podium to relate to the height and massing of the existing buildings directly to the north and to the east of us along the street line, as you can see on the diagram on the left. Next slide. This podium relationship, we can see a little bit better in this view on the corner of 7th Avenue and 55th Street. Our design intent is to design a crisp, contemporary, and timeless building for today and for its uses, one that has an order and also a bit of a refined restraint in its articulation. Our use of limestone as the primary masonry material on the building ties to the robust nature of the buildings around us and picks up on the warmth and some of the tonality of the stone and brick buildings directly adjacent to us. So the facade is set up, in a rhythm of these sort of twin vertical bands with horizontal banding that rise up the building from the base, with a higher density of limestone at the base balanced against maintaining windows and transparency, which we think is really important. And we blend that warmth of the limestone with the use of bronze-colored metal accents at the storefronts, with some of that materiality carrying up the building on the amenity levels. And then finally, on the next slide, as the building rises, those limestone piers continue into the tower. You can see the building sort of labeled there in the middle, with the horizontal limestone bands occurring every 3 floors. And I think the lightening of the limestone grid interfaces really nicely with the windows to create a clean and contemporary addition to the skyline that we feel also serves as a bridge between all glass buildings and the robust masonry buildings in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, so as discussed, we are seeking, turning now to the zoning actions, we're seeking 2 zoning authorizations. First, to grant a 118,000 square foot bonus in connection with subway station improvements. We will discuss these in more detail. And then secondly, we are seeking an authorization to modify bulk regulations, specifically to modify the daylight compensation requirements and to allow for 18,000 square feet of floor area that's generated in the C6 6.5 district to be transferred into the C6 district portion of the site. And an environmental assessment was prepared to study the potential impacts of the authorizations that we are seeking. The building that's shown to the left is what can be built entirely as of right, and what would be constructed without the authorizations. The building to the right is our proposed project, includes the additional 118,000 square feet, so the 20% bonus. The environmental assessment compared these two buildings, considered the effects and confirmed that the actions would not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Then focusing now on the subway improvements, you can see the project site in the center of the circle, and you can see the station at 50th and Broadway, which is within 1,500 feet of the project. So we are proposing improvements both at the southern end of the station at the intersection of Broadway and 50th, and at the northern end of the station at the intersection of Broadway and 51st. So this drawing shows the existing conditions at street level. The view has been rotated clockwise, so north is now to the right. Currently, the station is accessible only via stairs at the southern end of the platform, both at the northbound and southbound ends. Northbound and southbound platforms have only stairs at the southern end. The station is inaccessible to people with disabilities. This slide shows the improvements that we're proposing at ground level in yellow. We're proposing a new elevator to access from the street to the platform at the northbound side, and another elevator to provide access from the street to the southbound platform. And then at the intersection of 51st Street, so the northern end of the platform, we are proposing to build new stairs to provide access there, as well as to provide upgrades to the air ventilation system. All of this will also require relocation of turnstiles and the elevator machine rooms to be constructed. So going down to the platform level, this is the existing condition. And again, showing the improvements in yellow. We have the new elevator on the southbound platform, along with its new machine room and relocated turnstiles, a new elevator at the northbound platform, and then the new stairs on the northbound platform at the northern end. I should note, and so as a result of this work, the station is now would become handicap accessible. An additional point, and although this element is not technically part of the bonus, I will note that the project is also providing on-site station improvements. You can see here the 57th Street subway station for the entrance for the NQ, R, and W. This station, as you can see, is already accessible. There's a new elevator there shown at the left. However, there's a pinch point where the two gentlemen are walking right there in the middle between the elevator and the stairs. So as part of the project, that stair will be moved into the property line, and thereby preserving the full width of the sidewalk for pedestrians. So that is our proposal, and with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yaron, would you like to lead us off?
Yeah, I'll start. Can you give us a sense of how many stories 20%, this 20% bonus like translates to? Like what does it roughly make up in stories?
Sure. The as of right project would be 53 stories, and the proposed project is 71 stories. So 18 stories, thereabout.
Right. I'm sorry, can you go back to the last photo that you just showed?
Yeah.
With the pinch point? I just want to be clear. You're proposing to put in elevator access from the street to the uptown and downtown platforms, but there is already an elevator?
No,
For
for
the
station.
Sorry, that's for the one train. Okay, sorry. Got it. Understood. Thank you.
Right.
Let the applicant answer the question.
No, it was a stupid question. I appreciate everyone telling
The
me.
applicant's job, not us, not in the room.
Can you go to the bottom floor design that you showed, or the street level?
The bottom floor site plan or the
Yes,
street level
yeah.
view?
Floor plan, yeah.
Oh,
That,
there we are.
the one that has, sorry, that one, yes. So if we're looking at this correctly, there are three curb cutouts here, for one for the loading dock and two for the driveway. In very close proximity to each other. Can you talk through why you don't, or your thoughts around that, and any potential there might be for disruption to the pedestrian experience with that?
Sure. Max, do you want to take the initial point?
Sure. Yeah, so the driveway curb cuts for the vehicular entrances are one-way curb cuts. So I believe they're like 14 feet long. So we're trying to limit that. One of the things we looked at early on was a two-way curb cut, but we were concerned about the potential conflict, right? There's just more movement with the two-way. You also notice that the movement of this is in a clockwise direction, so it's a little bit counterintuitive, but in working it through with our traffic engineers, this was the safer approach because the ingress movement with the street going westerly on 55th meant that there was direct sight line to the people who are going in and out of the subway station stairs. So the idea was to actually have the ingress come in on the west side and then the egress come out on the east side further away from the subway station. So the curb cuts are 14 feet one way, and then the loading curb cut is slightly wider than that to meet the requirements for zoning.
Okay. And then just confirming there's the project produces no affordable housing on site, is that correct?
That's correct.
Those are my questions. Now, I will have comments and other questions.
Yeah, so you've confirmed of the 130 units, there are no affordable units. And what space, if any, would be available for community or public use?
Yes, the public benefit on site or the public use on site is the relocated subway stair. So the MTA
That's the
access that you,
bonus I'm asking you about. Excuse me, I'm asking a question. I'm asking about public space within the property you're developing that would be available for community or public use.
yeah, so to be clear, the bonus work is at the 50th Street station offsite. In addition to that, this element is not a bonus element, but Extel is going to be moving the station into its property line and maintaining that in perpetuity. That technically is not part of the bonus, but that is a public benefit.
Thank you, Maxwell. I understand the bonus, although we've had so many problems with these bonuses when it comes to elevators. We have a private developer. Thank you. We have private developers put them in and then they go into disrepair and they're out of service sometimes a month at a time. But the question I'm asking is not about the bonus. I'm asking about whether or not there is any space within the project for community or public use.
No, beyond the MTA
Thank you.
space, there's not further public space.
Other questions from the committee? Mike?
To ask about the hotel portion, you said there was a ballroom. How big is the ballroom? Or is there any other meeting space available?
Yeah, so on the fourth floor, there's a ballroom and meeting space. So there's one sort of larger space that could be dividable, as well as a couple of meeting spaces on that level. Or sorry, the third floor. And the ballroom, I believe, is around 3,400 square feet.
3,400? That's what you said?
Yes, he said that.
Okay, and you said there was other food and beverage. Is there a restaurant or what other food and beverage amenities will be at the hotel?
Yeah, there will be food and beverage spaces that are associated with the hotel, right? That you would typically find, you know, in a lobby area. So that's within the hotel portion that was in blue.
Okay, so just a lobby, grab and go, is that what you're talking about?
No, there'll be a restaurant on the 5th floor.
Restaurant on the 5th floor. How large is the restaurant on the 5th floor?
Let me check. It's about 2,200 square feet.
Okay. That's it.
Any other, Murnau?
Who will be in charge of maintaining the elevator on the 50th Street station?
MTA will be in charge of maintaining it. Extel will pay them an amount in order to fund that maintenance work.
On an ongoing basis?
Yes.
And do you know how much that amount is? Has that been negotiated already?
It is not set at this point.
I guess we've seen this before in our district where developers have provided upgrades to a MTA station. This is a 42nd Street one where they also provided access to public bathrooms in the station. Is there any chance that that could happen with this particular station?
No, we have designed this to MTA's requirements and consistent with the zoning requirements for the bonus. So we were not asked to include a bathroom as part of it.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Lav, you have the word.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, Lav.
So how did you arrive to like 118,000 square feet of a bonus area? Can you please explain to me?
Yes, it is a 20% increase off of the maximum zoning square footage that would be permitted at the site for the entire zoning lot.
And how big is the zoning lot?
The zoning lot is 41,104 square feet.
Okay, good. Mike, you wanted to ask another question?
And the property is on how many square feet? So the zoning lot, does it include adjacent properties around the?
It does. The development site is 21,400 square feet.
Uh-huh.
You see lot 1, and the zoning lot includes additionally lot 8, 60, and 61.
And that equates to 41,000 square feet.
Correct.
Got it, okay. And what would the cost of the work that needs to be done with MTA? Have you guys have you have a number? I'm just curious.
No, we do not have the number yet.
Got it.
Anything else, Lev?
No.
Okay, Michael.
I want to add something. I like the fact they're moving the entrance of the subway into their building. I think that's pretty nice.
Okay, Lev, we'll come to comments later. Okay, this is just questions, okay, for now. Michael, question.
The subway entrance on 55th Street, what is the current width of the stair now, and what is the proposed width of the stair will be inside the property line?
It will be 9.5 feet. I don't believe I have the existing width, but it's comparable.
9.5 feet wide?
12.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want sort of questions?
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Well,
Don't do
Kevin
questions.
is a quick, Kevin is on the board.
So Kevin can participate in business session.
No, but he wants to, Kevin, do you have a question?
Yeah,
Just
I
a
have
question.
Okay. Will the developer receive a tax credit, as a part of this exchange for the bonus floor plan, for the transit improvements? And if so, what is the value of the tax credit?
No, at least not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Okay, so, now we'll go to,
Questions?
questions of the public. And.
Well, questions and comments, right?
Questions and comments. So we'll, start in the room and that's Mr. Takeda. Ms. Takeda?
Yeah. When will we expect the project to renovation, complete renovation? Is renovation?
I don't know if you could hear that. The question is, when do you expect the project to be complete?
The project will be complete by 2030 and then occupied in 2031.
And that includes the subway improvements?
Yes, the subway improvements have to be complete before certificates of occupancy can be obtained for the bonus portion.
Great, thanks.
John?
Is it another opportunity to get some public opinion? I mean, that's several opposing opinion. I see in the email that, so is there any chance to get the public opinion?
I mean, and it's sort of what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing now.
Yes.
So would the DCP?
Yeah.
Would the DCP have a
Is there
hearing?
is there other chances for public opinion? I would say that's what we're doing now.
No, tonight is it. This is not, these are authorizations. This is not a ULURP.
Right.
So tonight is the night for anything. This is it.
But you're being asked to give your opinion now.
Okay. So is it John?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. One about the architecture. At what point it looks like from the illustrations that there's setbacks. So how the lower portion that takes up the whole mass area goes to what floor? And when does it start to taper? Can you see that screen?
All right, so the base of the building
Can you
goes
show
up,
the slide, please?
sure.
I'm pulling it up, yes.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. You should probably leave the slideshow up until we're finished. Thank you.
Yeah, so the base of the building, is the first sort of setback happens roughly after the fourth floor, but the base of the building really goes up to 6.
Okay, so the base takes as far as the front and its relationship to the sidewalk, the base, there's no setback from the existing in the base, except for that area to get into the subway or the covered area to get into the building on 55th Street, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that was a question. So that's 6 floors. It looks taller.
It is 6 floors. I think the
Then the
scale,
lighter blue is set back how much?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay, the lighter blue section.
Yep.
Is set back how much from the darker blue, from the bottom section?
So
I mean, presumably that's where the restaurant is and you'll have a terrace and all that, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the tower portion relative back to the street line is at 40 feet on 55th Street.
40
right?
feet.
And it's 10
40
feet
back
from,
from 55th Street. And what about from the building to the east of that, which happens to be where I live? And does it go to the lot line?
Yes, the podium goes to the lot line. So those 6 stories go to the lot line.
And, right, and what about the next, the lighter blue, the royal blue, where the setback is?
Yeah, so that sets back another approximately 29 feet.
Okay, does that go to the lot line?
It sets back 29 feet from the lot line.
Oh, from the front and the side?
From the, I'm sorry, from the side to,
So,
sorry, to the
setback-
building to the lot line is
Big
29 feet.
setback.
Yeah, there's some crosstalk here, so
Okay,
ask your question.
my question is, where do the setbacks occur and how many are there?
Great. Can you just run through that maybe through the whole
Sure.
building?
Sure, I think this might be an easier diagram here. So if we're going from the eastern lot line, you point that out, Wesley, yeah. So that first setback above the 6th floor is 29, just a shade over 29 feet.
Okay, Good.
Then that next setback to the sort of the residential portion, the yellow portion, is another 31.25 feet, right? So
okay,
it adds up to, the dimension.
okay, no, that answered, that question. And then my next question was on the entry side, the 55th, north side of 55th Street, there's an entrance into it's a private garage for residents only?
It's an accessory garage for the building.
Right, who parks there?
That would be both for the hotel and residential use.
Okay, only. There's plenty of parking garages, so it's really not a concern, but I wondered about in and out, how much. And then there's an entrance to the hotel there, the entrance to the subway, and then a way for access for taxis and limousines or black cars. It seems like a lot on that short space. With the subway.
Are you making a comment or are you asking a question?
I'm asking a question.
Okay, it sounds like you're making a comment. What's the question?
The question is, on that 55th side, there's access to the private garage. There's access to the subway, and there's access to the hotel. And there's still place for livery drop-offs and pickups. That's my question. Is there enough space for all that?
Yes, what you can see here is there is room for 6 reservoir spaces that have been provided. So that is sufficient to serve all of that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I have one other question. How do you come up, I don't know how it's decided that a subway like so far away gets the benefit when anyone within a block radius is likely to use another train. Because there's about 5 or 6 closer. And for example, the 7th Avenue subway has no handicap access. And it's a huge, it's a vital subway. People use it to go to Kennedy in addition to coming in on 3 or 4 subway lines, going north, south, east, and west. And that has no handicap.
So is the question, how did
decide that?
how did you determine which subway entrance to do work on, I guess is the question.
So the zoning for accessibility program, but per zoning, the qualifying stations are within a range of up to 1,500 feet away. And then within that, the actual how was it determined? As an applicant, we go to the MTA and they direct us based on need within that circumference. So it is a station that MTA has identified as having the need and being prioritized for this work.
But not in proximity to the site. That's not a variable.
That's
Well,
the more proximate benefit is
there's a
the
zone
entrance
and then MTA chooses from within the zone.
Right, but it's
Correct.
not in the zone of where the construction, I mean, technically it may be, but.
Yeah.
As far as, for the population.
Oh, the MTA chooses it?
Okay, let's move
Okay.
on. Walt, please.
You say Walt?
Yes, I did.
I have a similar question about the setback. Can you go to your well, maybe it's on this picture, we can stay on this, but for when you get to the residential tower, how far much to the east is that tower beyond the current Wellington Hotel? Can you point out on this diagram, or maybe on the one where, whichever is easier, where's the current Wellington Hotel, and then where are the two other buildings to the east on 55th Street? On your diagram, not on the,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
do
on
not
that
have the
one.
existing.
You don't have an elevation, do you, of the adjacent buildings in this new building, do you?
Mm,
That would be helpful.
no, this one here.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's 55th Street looking at, correct?
yes, that's
That's
55th, that's 55th Street, looking up north of north up
Okay.
7th Avenue.
So where is the current Wellington Hotel, and then where are the two buildings that are east of the Wellington Hotel that you're about to demolish?
Right, so the Wellington Hotel includes those two buildings. So they end right here at the same eastern edge.
Okay,
They
so
appear as though they are two separate buildings, but they're actually internally part of the Wellington.
What is the address again?
147 West 55th Street is the farthest east that's being demolished on the block. So, well, let's move on from that. My fundamental question is where the tallest part of the Wellington Hotel is currently, is that aligned with the setback for the residential tower? At that point.
Max, do you have that figure?
I don't have it. Right here, we can take a look at it. I mean, we didn't design it that way to align with it. So it could be close to it, but I don't know where it is right now.
How many feet back from the easternmost point on the lot is the setback where the residential tower begins? How many feet is that?
Oh, so from the yellow to the eastern property line,
Correct.
it's 60 feet.
Sorry, how 60 feet?
60 feet.
Oh, so 60 feet.
60. Yeah, if you
Oh,
go
so
back to the
that's-
site
That's not
plan,
even close to where the current hotel, where the current high part
Yeah,
of the Wellington Hotel is, because you've got two other smaller buildings to the right.
the 147 West 55th is 75 feet wide. And then 151, I don't have the precise dimension, but it's probably another 30 feet.
Okay, so give me those numbers again. 30
75 and 75 and 30.
75, so it's 110 feet from the current height of the Wellington Hotel. And then you're saying the setback is only 60 feet. So it's going another 45 feet. Is that correct?
That's approximately correct, yes.
All right. My second question is, I don't understand the regulation about you're asking to include other lots as part of the footprint to then maximize the total capacity of this building. Where are those lots that you're including?
The zoning lot includes lot 8, lot 60, and lot 61.
And where are those on your diagram? Can you blow it up? I can't see it. I'm in the back of the room.
Sure. Lot 8 is to the east.
Okay, what's
Lot
currently
60
there
is
right now?
north.
What's currently there right now?
That is the condo building. Sorry, that is, yes, mixed-use residential and commercial building.
Okay, that's not being demolished. So you're how do you get to include that lot into your total capacity?
Yeah, a zoning lot is not necessarily one-to-one with a property like a lot.
Okay, what does that mean?
But there, do you want to
Let
explain?
the applicant answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you want to explain what a zoning lot is?
Sure. The zoning calculations are done on the basis of a zoning lot, which can include and typically does include multiple tax lots. So these are developed or redeveloped as a single zoning lot, and are all the DOB filings and zoning calculations are done on the basis of these four together.
Okay, so is your application today asking that those zoning lots be included?
Already on. No, they already are.
They already are.
Yes.
It already is. The zoning lot is, these tax lots are merged into a single zoning lot on an as-of-right basis. The
And so, okay, so
application is
because
then,
those zoning lots are already included, that is what's giving you the right to go up to what you said, 53 stories, if you were not granted this application that you're making today?
yes, technically, well, all four of them are used to generate the bonus. Technically, these two are not in the as-of-right program. So they would not be merged in until the for the as-of-right development.
Okay, and so the zoning lots that you've included are the ones that are then outlined in the black, to the north and to the east of the site, okay. All right, those answer my question. Are we doing comments as well?
Yes.
We're doing comments, but I would like all of you to understand that at a certain point, we're gonna have to cut this off. So I would like you to allow enough time for everyone who is here tonight to take time to speak to us. And the first speakers took too much time and asked so many questions.
Well,
We've got to limit it, okay?
I'd
So
like to say,
please,
the presentation.
please
is
just
quite-
limit
is
it.
Quite vague.
please
So
limit it.
I strongly object to the project. You are adding another super tall building into Midtown. It is within probably 30 feet of City Spire, going all the way above City Spire. You're gonna block light. You're gonna block airflow. Half the apartments that are on City Spire are going to basically be looking out onto an air shaft with this building. And I think it is beyond comprehension that a building can be placed, a super tall can be placed on the same block. I believe that the foundations actually abut one another, that this super tall building, it's not like it's across the street. I get that buildings can be put across the street. This is being put exactly on the same lot, completely adjacent to City Spire. And just the light, the airflow, and lack of that.
And now you're
Here's my
repeating
objection.
yourself. Okay,
I'm
so
done.
one time,
We got it.
not repeat it, okay?
You know, you didn't admonish the applicants.
Yeah, you're wasting.
And this is the only public hearing that these folks are entitled to.
David,
I have a 2-minute statement to read. Is
Yes,
that
of course.
time?
we're
No,
out of order.
Thank you. My name is David Akalis. I'm president of the West 50s Neighborhood Association. I was a member of community board for a number of years when I knew where. I'm reading on behalf of myself. It's a statement for me. I've lived on West 56th Street for over 50 years. I was born and raised here in Manhattan. Let me state that for the last 20, 30 years, the New York real estate industry has been out of control. It is time for the citizens of New York City to take back what no one industry should control. The real estate industry has made so much money that they have been able to buy whatever they want, and no one has been able to say no. This makes Extel a bad neighbor. For example, for the last 100 years, developers and architects have understood that the sight line of Central Park West was to be preserved. And up until about 2 years ago, that condition prevailed.
then Xtel says, too bad, no one can stop us. And they erected the eyesore that is 50 West 66. One of the apartments has been on the market for 875 days. That's because it's for sale for $85 million. And Xtel was proud of the fact they didn't have to provide affordable housing because the building is as of right. What a terrible phrase. And previously, Xtel abused the air rights provision by actually cantilevering one corner of the building at 217 West 57th Street into the actual airspace over the art students' leave. Whatever happened to Hugh Ferris? That's what I want to know. So, these buildings on Billionaires Row are virtually empty. And the last thing our neighborhood needs is another super tower. And let me close by saying that there are already 3 super tall hotels within a 1-block distance of this project. Thank you.
Okay, Tatiana?
Hi. 55th Street is lined with residential buildings. I want to understand how the servicing of this building, the loading docks for laundry, for the restaurants, for everything will be serviced, because we cannot have the overnight noise hazard affecting our families. So can you please show us where the loading docks are, and can you guarantee that we will not be exposed to dangerous overnight noise levels?
Yes, the loading area is at the western end of the site, shown here in gray. And operations like you were referring to will occur within the building and not on the street, so that the noise is not affecting the nearby community.
So the trucks will enter the building?
This loading area is big enough for a truck to enter the building, yes.
Even garbage trucks?
The city garbage trucks would not enter that, but regular loading would be done there.
And can we have a guarantees, if this construction is approved, that no overnight construction, no weekend construction?
Yeah, the building would be subject to the construction rules, which are typically not to allow, except in special circumstances, overnight or weekend construction. There are some instances like concrete pours, which have to run longer, but that is not the plan.
Thank you. Okay, Kevin?
Thank you. For those people that don't know me here, my name is Kevin Thompson. I'm a member of the Community Board 5, as well as a neighbor and a shareholder at the 150 West 55th Co-op. Before I get into my comments, I just want to acknowledge and commend Xtel for how they have cleaned up that site a little bit. It has been a disaster for a number of years. And it's cleaner than I remember it being in recent times. So we really appreciate that. So thank you for that. While I recognize that this committee is talking about a very specific focus, that exchange of floor area for transit improvements, I'd like to raise a few quality of life concerns that I hope you'll incorporate in any resolution you adopt this evening. My concerns are really focused on the day-to-day reality that my neighbors, workers in the area, and small businesses along my street will face throughout this entire ordeal. First, we're looking at a demolition and construction project of enormous scale. This building is going to just be 6 stories shy of the height of the Chrysler Building. You know, it will rival the buildings on 57th Street. It's really big and way out of scale for the location. And while projects like this may ultimately bring some long-term benefits, I don't know what they'll be, but you know, I'll leave that up to people to debate. I'm interested in the short and medium-term impacts that are troublesome and very real for my neighbors. sustained and elevated noise levels, dust, debris, traffic disruption. Those are all significant strains on our quality of life. And we work and live just steps away from all of this. I'm a stone's throw from this construction site. And so for residents, these are not abstractions. These are going to be our daily lived experiences. I've shared with all of you some language that I am proposing to be included in any resolution you adopt this evening. And I think it's a little straightforward. I hope that it will ensure some clear expectations between the community and the developer. And it will establish some accountability and some pathways for communication so that the surrounding community can maintain a reasonable quality of life during this prolonged period of disruption. I believe we need complete transparency in scheduling and phasing of this project. We need strict adherence to the city rules governing construction impacts. We need assurances of consistent cleanliness that is going to be maintained along 7th Avenue and 55th Street. We want to maintain the safety of the right-of-way, the critical infrastructure, make sure that the bike lane on 7th Avenue is open and operational. All of those things are important, but the most important thing in my mind is that we need a real human point of contact, not a hotline, a real human being that is a dedicated ombudsman who will be accessible, responsible, and accountable to the community, and who will meet with the building managers, the local businesses, and the neighbors along the immediate area on a regular basis. And I've proposed what that timeline might be in the language that I've shared with you. I also believe any resolution adopted by this committee should implore Extel to help address some of the most vexing conditions in and around this site, particularly on that intersection at 55th and 7th. Specifically, I'm talking about homelessness that has been a real problem on that intersection for a number of years and continues to be. Extel needs to use some of its power and influence to work with the Department of Social Services to make sure that individuals experiencing homelessness receive the appropriate outreach and the support they deserve. A construction site, especially one of this magnitude, is neither suitable nor safe for encampments. That's just hard stop. Finally, I'm offering some language for inclusion in your resolution tonight, urging Extel to work with the community to remove a long-standing shed and scaffolding at 853 7th Avenue. You have a very ambitious project that you are building, and you're building it across the street from a dump. I don't know how that's going to work. No, it's been 15 years. 15 years the scaffolding has been up. It is a complete eyesore and too many problems to even go into here tonight. But I know that Extel, I'm wrapping it up, thank you. I know that Extel has the ability to lean into this conversation and work with the community. It's past time we clean up that intersection, and I appreciate Extel working with the community, and thank you, Madam Chair, for the time.
Thank you. Dexter.
Yes, I would just like to say that that additional 1,118,796 land you're asking for, which comes out to 2.73 acres, is what's allowing it to abut City Spire, which it started with the Wellington just going to be a really tall tower, which is one thing because it's so far away from another super tall building. But now with that addition you're asking for, and then you're putting up the handicap elevator, all that extra land, it gives 147 West 55th over to you, which then abuts City Spire, which means literally it is blocking a whole building, 73 stories of tenants will not be able to look out their window and have light. It's basically right next to City Spire. That's my biggest objection. Not that it's so high. If it's high across the street, but if it's so high and you could hand a cup of coffee over to your neighbor and you're living in a fishbowl, that's ruining our quality of life. I'm just making that as a comment for all the tenants that are living in City Spire that are against this and would not like to see it go forward.
Okay, and our final public speaker in the room is Andrea.
Hi, I will be brief. I'm Andrea, also community board member and Catherine's neighbor in a different building. So I second everything he said about the homeless encampment on the block as well as the long-term scaffolding issues. We will very much appreciate Excel can use your influence in this industry to make sure to better the quality of life of this block and also my second thing, my neighbor and I, we have concerns about the noise and safety issues that might, the project might bring to, the neighbor. Just want to hear about like if you have your plan for, ensuring that the safety of the neighborhood as well as how are you going to minimize the noise during this project. And then also the subway station that is right outside of Burlington Hotel right now, are at any point of time, will there be would there be a point of time where like the residents won't have the access to use that entrance as well?
Thank you. Online, you're on.
Well, so there were two questions in there. So to the applicant, I would say noise mitigate, can you talk to them about noise mitigation? Like can you talk about whether access to the subway station that is currently in front of the Wellington Hotel will be blocked at any point?
On the subway station piece, yes, the station entrance at that location will be closed for some period of time while it is being relocated. As for noise reduction or noise mitigations, the applicant team has committed to a series of noise reduction measures. And this includes a wide range of things, including some minutiae such as minimizing backup alarms, ensuring that there's compliance with vehicle idling restrictions, ensuring that there are mufflers on all equipment that would have that. There will be training for construction workers on site. In addition, to the extent practical, pumps, cranes, and other equipment will be moved away from the residential buildings and will be shielded as possible to the extent possible.
Okay. Okay, we'll go online now to Charles Nye.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. I would like to know how many buildings that Extel owns past or present in New York City actually contains affordable housing, such as rent stabilized apartments or apartments where low-income people are paying 30% of their income towards rent. And I would like to know why the decision was made not to have affordable housing when New York City is pushing for affordable housing, and especially since we have a crisis of homelessness and people seeking affordable housing, especially in this district. And finally, my final question is, I would like to know, has Extel ever got any backing or support for this project from Open New York or Abundance New York? Thank you.
What would you like to ask the applicant based on this? Because I think some of that is relevant.
Let the applicant answer.
Okay, applicant.
Sure. I do not know the answer to how many Extel buildings have affordable housing, but as to the question of why there's none here, the affordable housing requirements only apply in MIH districts or where you're getting certain bonuses for that. That is not the zoning program that we are seeking. We are seeking a bonus through the provision of subway improvements.
We'll go to Sarah Caldwell next. Sarah, can you unmute yourself? Sarah? Okay, let's maybe we'll come back to Sarah. So James Oppenheim.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I am here in opposition to the extension of a bonus or the extension of additional vertical space to this project for a number of reasons. Number one, as a matter, I live on 150 West 55th Street, across the street from the project. I am very concerned about the traffic dislocation and noise that will necessarily happen as a result of the traffic flow that's been designed and explained tonight. The idea of the trucks going vertically or perpendicularly into the hotel and having that loop, the cul-de-sac there for the entrance, which actually, as the applicant said, is somewhat counter intuitive, that they have to go past the hotel and then come back around and then shoot back out straight into the street at that point, is almost certainly going to cause traffic congestion on a street that is already full with traffic congestion, in part because of 6.5 Avenue and the stop signs there and the noise that generates. We are constantly having horns going all night long when there's a traffic refuse pickup. And I would like to say that adding an additional 20 stories to this building will only add more trash, more deliveries, and more noise to the block. I also want to say that I'm very, very much opposed to the relocation of the stairwell down into the subway for this reason. We have a number of permanent homeless residents on our block. If you give them a permanent place to live, which is what you're going to be giving them, a permanent shelter, then they will be living there. We will not be able to go down into that subway stop because they will be encamped there, as they have been at numerous points on both sides of 55th Street at that location. Finally, I just want to say that the overall impact that this will have on the community, on our community, so that some people can have tax shelters, is just deplorable, and I urge you to exercise your discretion now. Do not sign off on this project as it currently is, and leave. If they're entitled to a 50-story building, welcome neighbors, be good neighbors, but not 70 stories and helping a subway stop that has no impact on our local residents. And in fact, will have, when we've lived through that subway stop being built and rebuilt so many years now, and now you're telling me that it's going to be rebuilt and removed. No, we need a safe place. And right now, to walk from 150 West 55th to the subway stop is like walking the gauntlet. It is dangerous. There are homeless people living there. There are drug deals taking place out in the open, on the street, and in that subway station. And as somebody who's lived here now for nearly 2 decades, I only see this neighborhood getting worse and getting more dangerous, and to the point that my grandchildren cannot come to my apartment. My children don't want to come to this apartment because it is dangerous. This is Midtown Manhattan. Don't make it worse, make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Douglas K now. Douglas, are you able to unmute?
Good evening. I live in the building directly next to this project, 145 West 55, for the past 30 years. I'm disabled. I would like to know from the developer when the demolition will begin. And my concern is, I understand the stairwell will be closed in front of the project, but my concern is I'm disabled if the elevator is going to be closed because I can only access the subway with that elevator. And I understand the MTA has chosen 50th Street, but I would like to know why they perhaps can't put an elevator in at the 57th Street entrance, because at present there's only an elevator from the street to the toll booth, not from the toll booth to the platform or at 7th Avenue. So I would like to know when demolition is going to begin, if the elevator at 55th and 7th is going to be impacted as well. Thank you.
the applicant's able to respond.
Sure. The demolition is going to begin next year on the stair. It is not, we are not going to be closing the elevator at 57th Street as part of that. That elevator will remain in operation. As far as the question of accessibility from the platform, from the mezzanine to the platform, again, we took direction from MTA on the station and location within the eligible circumference that they prioritized.
Thank you. We'll go back to Sarah Caldwell to see if she's able to unmute.
If she's on her phone.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. This is Sarah and Zach Caldwell, husband and wife team. We live on 162 West 56th Street in the Carnegie Plaza condominium. We just have 3 questions. The first, the bonus floors in space, what are those specifically being used for? Are those floors for resident spaces? The second one, how do you know that our neighborhood can accommodate adding this large amount of residents to the community? And the third, what is the time difference in the planned end of construction between if you are not allowed to add the bonus space versus if you are allowed? Thank you.
The applicant able to answer those questions, and I can repeat them.
Yes, the bonus space will be for residential use. The bonus will provide for approximately 86 incremental units, and that additional construction period will be approximately 3 months.
Okay, I think that is all we have from the public.
Okay, so now we will go into what we call our business session, where only committee members and board members may speak. So, will you have your hand up?
Thank you, Nancy. I understand that Extel has a fiduciary responsibility to create profits for its shareholders. I also understand that according to the New York City Charter, community boards have a social responsibility to residents, businesses, workers, and visitors to their specific districts. Extel is offering no affordable units, no public or community space. At a time when we are in a deep financial crisis and have so many public issues around housing and homelessness, restrooms, nothing is being offered other than this subway improvement. And in my opinion, the public good is totally incommensurate with an additional 19 stories. So in my view, if Extel wanted to be a good public citizen and a good neighbor, it would build no more than 53 stories and still finance the improvement of the subways, as it would be an immediate benefit to their workers, their customers, and to their neighbors. I will not support this application.
You're up.
So a lot of good commentary tonight. What I'm hearing is, and I want to do like a little triage here. So what I'm hearing a lot from the community. I think some of it we certainly could and should include in any sort of resolution that we come up with, and that being, points of contact and things like that. I think Kevin, you can go back through sort of Kevin's list and other folks' lists. I think some of it we can refer to the proper committees. I don't know what responsibility Extel has, for homelessness in the neighborhood. They really don't. But we can talk to CSQL about what can be done there. I think for the bike lane consideration, that's a DOT consideration. We can talk to transportation about that. So I think there's some triage we could do about some of the, for the ones that are most relevant to the developer and what they can provide directly. we could certainly include those in a resolution. And I think we should. I totally understand the disruption that neighbors are concerned about. I totally understand that this is maybe going to be unpleasant for them, and I think the community board should do everything it can to help mitigate that. At the same time, I'm of the position that you know, there can be a 53-story building. There will be a 53-story building with the same construction and the same traffic and the same, like many of the things brought up. And the community gets nothing for that. Or the community can get much needed and important subway improvements that help accessibility with the New York City subway. And I think it is incumbent on a community board to think about that trade-off and think about what the broader community can get. So that is where I'm at. I can start enumerating what that resolution would look like. But
We have council member Gail Brewer,
great.
who's joining us. Welcome, Gail, to our land use.
Thank you. I have been listening. I'm sorry I couldn't get there, but I just want to echo a lot of the sentiments from the individuals. I know this isn't as of right. I am very aware of this building, but I hope that the community board, and I think you will, take into consideration some of the many issues. I'm working on getting rid of the homeless because they should not be there, but it's not easy. And I'm also very concerned about some of the viewing issues, as well as the, just a very large building. But what happened was, as you know, Excel got in there before the permit of hotels, special permit. So they were very smart about doing that. So we have not a lot to play with, but I look forward to the community board resolution. And thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't get there earlier.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ankur.
I share a lot of what Yaron said, and I also want to commend Kevin and Andrea for your thoughtful points about mitigations that the developer could actually control, and that any resolution that we offer should include. I also agree with Yaron's point that some of the comments may need to be directed to other committees that focus on where I would urge us to support this this request with the conditions that were outlined by Kevin and Andrea to address quality of life issues. The reason I think we should support it is because I don't want to understate some of the benefits of this project. I have family members who have mobility issues, and getting these subway stations up to code and ADA accessible is a huge benefit for people. I know that the particular station that's in the 1,500 feet catchment zone is on 50th and Broadway, but that's in the heart of the theater district. Imagine how transformative it could be for someone's life that they can access theater through mass transit if they couldn't otherwise. I also appreciate that Extel is moving the staircase on right outside of the building into their property line, because that makes it easier for people in wheelchairs or otherwise who otherwise have mobility issues going up and down that street, because it is a very tight corridor right now between the stairs and the elevator bank. I also think that I share Zul's concern about some of the budget crisis that were happening, and I think everyone here has heard it in the news. Our budget is in bad shape. But these units, while they don't have affordable units, what that means, and there was a question about this, is that there isn't a tax abatement. So these units will be taxed very heavily, and they will contribute significantly to helping raise funds for the city, which we desperately need right now. We're in a big budget deficit. And I think folks may have seen the news that the governor and the legislature appear to agree that there's going to be a pied-à-terre tax. So if there's anybody who is not using their unit as a primary residence, they're going to pay even more taxes, which we need to help fill a large budget deficit. Otherwise, we'll have some negative trade-offs. So I would support a resolution that approved it with the conditions outlined by Andrea and Kevin.
Now, Kevin had his hand up next, so.
Thank you so much. I appreciate any support the committee can give to the resolution that I shared with you. I strongly disagree that that portions of it should be parceled off to other committees. That is tantamount to nothing happening. I linked these things purposefully. You are not dealing with an everyday player. Extel is one of the most sophisticated, powerful developers in this city. And if they pick up the phone to talk to the Department of Buildings about my problem with scaffolding, I have a feeling, and Gail Brewer knows it, that they might respond. Because she's been calling, I've been calling, my neighbors have been calling, and we can't get it done. So the Quality of Life Committee won't be able to either. That's a waste of time. Please keep those elements in this resolution. I want it tied to what we expect as a community from Extel. And I know you can't compel them, but you can strongly encourage it and link it to what you are allowing them to do. And just, Ankur, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But all for transit improvements. I spent 15 years of my life in transit, and there are too many places where people can't go. So more power to all.
Murnal, then Seth.
So,
And then Kevin after that.
I'm sorry, can I just ask a very quick clarification? What of the 150 new units that are going to go in, what's the average floor area for them? Or
30.
median floor area for them for the 130 units, the condo units that are going in?
Okay, we're gonna break rank here and let the applicant answer that question, please. Did you hear the question?
You mean square footage?
Yes, about 2,500 square feet per unit.
So basically all luxury apartments for the most part, right? That's one, but also my other observation is, I mean, it is the point of I mean, yes, I would love, yes, no, the questions.
Thank you.
The observation, thank you. The observation is that I would like a little bit more clarification how they went about picking the subway site for improvement when there is, per the residents, another subway site close by that is also not ADA accessible. I mean, that is sort of the point of the bonus.
It was a negotiation with MTA. They'd sit down with MTA and the MTA and the developer work out the most necessary, most needy station, and this is what they came up with. Okay, Seth.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I just want to say I support everything Ankur said, and also very much like the stipulation around including contact information for Excel they can use.
Kevin.
I just wanted to highlight the parent choice that the developer was given between renovating the subway and adding affordable housing units. And per the George Jane's memo, he highlighted that, you know, adding affordable housing, you know, the DCP assumes that they will always choose to add affordable housing because it's economically beneficial. But in this case, it crosses 1,000 feet so that the economics get murky. And so I wonder if in our resolution, however this kind of comes out, if we should add something along those lines to the DCP, emphasizing that their assumption that developers will always choose to add affordable housing is not correct. If they're given this choice between, you know, having a one-time cost of renovating a subway or an ongoing cost of having to maintain affordable housing, they will always choose the one-time cost of renovating a subway rather than having a lower ROI affordable housing in their building.
Well, if you recall MSMX, it's the same issue.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's more.
My
It doesn't pencil. My understanding is that affordable housing just doesn't pencil out in that location.
100%. And my comment was more of
It's a financial
suggestion for the resolution to include something along those lines targeted at DCP for their.
Okay. Andrea.
Just want to piggyback to what Kevin said. I think it's also in Excel's best interest that you don't have scaffolding and homeless issue right across the street. It's just not pleasant for not only, you know, the resident already on the block, but also your future resident that will be staying in the building as well.
Let me just see if Lev, do you have any comment before we go to Zoom? Lev, you have any comments?
I just like the fact that they moved the entrance of the subway, as everybody mentioned, to the building. I think that was nice. I think they had to do that, but I like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Zool.
3 quick points. And if Councilmember Brewer is still online, she could better speak to this. But MTA is under court mandate to provide ADA accessibility. Given the crisis in public capital, we understand that we'd like to take money from whatever private sources that are willing to give it. But speaking to that, I can tell you, just across the street from me, 28th and Park Avenue, they did a subway improvement, and that elevator has gone out of repair numerous times and has taken months to be repaired. This doesn't work out well. One more point, from when I was on Landmarks Committee, my direct experience with Extel when they were accruing that lot on Fifth Avenue. There was a building that applied for landmark status, which I thought had great architectural value and would have been a great landmark corner for a Diamond District landmarked street. They did everything they could to make that building go away. Historically, in my view, Extel has not been a good public citizen and is not a good neighbor, and I do not support this resolution.
You're on.
This application, rather.
So, okay. So let's start.
Are we working toward a motion here?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Give us some ideas. So we can vote.
So before we even get to whether it's an approval or a deny on this, which will be a whole other thing, let's just talk about what some of the components that we want to call out are. So I would like to talk about the curb cuts.
Okay.
And I would like those to be reconsidered. So that was one thing.
Now, with the curb cuts, the way it works is, DCP does not rule on the curb cuts. That is done by DOB, right, and DOT together. And we have to add it now if we have a concern about the curb cuts. I would just like to say that my concern with curb cuts is we are a city, we are pushing for pedestrian safety. 3 curb cuts in that narrow space is 3 too many as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Maybe 1, but not 3.
Are there any employees who are going to be assigned to watching the pedestrian safety?
Can I finish?
Please do.
And so my concern is, and then there are 6 reservoir parking spaces. Well, if they're reservoir parking spaces, they're going to be filled with 6 cars. No taxi cabs are going to be going in and out. That's not going to happen. They're going to load and unload on the street with the cars coming and going. I just think we have to question the curb cuts and say no. Say no to the curb cuts, period.
Okay. So that's one. So other things that I think were uncontroversial was 24-hour human contact, however, Kevin phrased it more eloquently than that. I think, what else? I mean, I think a plan, I think that the idea of like, what is the scheduled plan? I think, noise mitigation, I don't know if we're asking for anything in addition to what they are required to do and say they are going to do, but we can certainly include that. Or that can be a larger category of construction disruption. So we talked about timeline, we talked about 24-hour contact. I know there was, let's come back to the shed and homelessness for a second. Is there what other aspects do we want to include here? If this were either a deny on less or an approve. What am I missing?
I think we need to figure out a way to limit the number of overnight and weekend special construction permits, because this is gonna be very disruptive to sleep and circadian, rhythms and, quality of life for all the people that live around us. And I think that, a project of this size and with the history of this developer, they constantly are asking for weekend and, overnight, construction permit, special permission, and they're often granted it very quickly. So I think we have to figure out a way to control that and limit it,
Okay,
right? The noise is a problem.
okay.
I'm receptive to some of the comments around quality of life issues, around the homelessness and potentially dangerous environment around, I don't know if that's
Yeah,
included in there.
I mean, I think it's fine to ask the developer to take best efforts to, it's just a very like loop, like to do what, but to take best efforts to, you know, be a good member of the community and be a good person and help improve that.
My resolution, I believe it says, that I'm asking for them to work and meet with DSS at least on a weekly basis. Now, they may come to a point where they don't need to do that.
Right.
And it could be less.
Okay.
But, you know, on the front end of this, it's a real problem.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, they're gonna have to be in the trenches.
I'm not disputing this.
And that's why I put in
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what that's the engagement.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with asking the developer to engage with DSS. We can talk about frequency, but I think overall the strokes of that seem reasonable. My personal sort of concern with scaffolding, maybe I don't have it right, but like, this is what I hear you saying.
Okay.
We're asking the developer to call another private property owner of a different property
No,
and try to leverage them to remove a shed.
no, I'm asking the developer to use its influence. However they define that, with the Department of Buildings. Department of Buildings should be enforcing the rules.
Sure.
They haven't. It's been up for 50
Remember, this
years.
letter is going to DCP, not to the Department of Buildings.
I understand that, but you know, it's the city of New York.
Right.
You know, let's not get so bureaucratic and say it's this building or that department or whatever. They know who to talk to. They absolutely do. The point is, they're gonna have more success at
I understand.
removing that eyesore than anybody else.
I understand.
That is the point.
Well, okay, so then why point out this? Why don't we make sure that, the Manhattan Borough President, Brad William Siegel, knows what's going on up in the South Shore as well? Right? I mean, because
Yeah.
Manhattan is his
Yeah.
his new area. He's got 4 years to figure it out.
He needs more time than that. Can I call an Ankur? Sure.
Just on the last point, I support every other condition you laid out, but on the scaffolding, I share a bit of your concern. Would fully support copying the Manhattan Borough President or even having a resolution more broadly about scaffolding. I agree it's a problem, but I don't like a precedent where we try to push private applicants to advocate for our government to work better when we can do that directly ourselves. As a condition to getting approval for something where they're already contributing a lot to the city. I don't like that precedent.
Something we've done on SLAP, and Steph can speak to this, is I think SLAP is where you see the best precedent of us, you know, trying to really encourage applicants to use best efforts to do things that would make them good citizens, even though they don't have to. So I'm comfortable with sort of using a kind of SLAP-like model here, as a set of recommendations and things like that. I think that's.
And I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Mike.
And we asked the applicant to have a 24-hour security guard roam 50 feet beyond the property line. So they can call 311, they can call NYPD or whatever, just another set of eyes and ears around the neighborhood to be able to call whoever needs the DHS, whoever.
Can we frame it as additional secure? I mean, like
Well,
50 feet versus 40.
Yeah, but normally they secure the property.
They secured already. We're asking to expand the perimeter.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay,
Right,
so,
is that-
so
Right.
in addition to the security that they're required to provide or going to be providing,
Provide
can
an
they,
insurance thing, yeah,
can they look after a larger vicinity?
yeah,
Okay,
24 hours. And to Nancy's point about the curb cuts, if they're gonna have the drive-through driveway, will they not ask DOT for a hotel loading zone?
is that separate from the loading dock they have?
Loading dock will help with the noise mitigation. But with the circulation, if they're gonna have the two curb cuts for the driveway
Yeah,
and then ask for another hotel loading zone at the curbside, they shouldn't have to ask for the hotel loading zone because they have the driveway for the taxis to go in for the loading, unloading of.
well, can we just ask
Yeah.
them?
No,
No, I'm saying,
It's a DOT app.
you're saying you want DOT to not grant it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see, okay. We need to think about how many people this letter needs to go to. So you're saying you want to ask DOT to, because they have the
Private
driveway,
driveway.
that
They
would
don't,
they need the additional hotel? I see, okay.
because then they would manage the driveway, keep it clear so that taxis can come in and out.
So
19th century, early 20th century laissez-faire economics led to such great inequity and inequality that President Roosevelt and Mayor LaGuardia got together and they built public housing. Late 20th century and early 21st century, a libertarian view, whether it's from a Republican or Democratic standpoint, that the public will benefit by this private investment, generally has ended up so 1% of the benefit accrues to the public good and 99% to the private interest. I do not support this application. I would support a resolution in which Extel would build the 53 stories and maybe or maybe not give us the subway improvements that would benefit their own workers, customers, and neighbors.
thank you, Jim. Anyone else have any comments on the resolution?
So let me just review what we have and then we should ultimately, we need to talk, and I really need to go to the bathroom, so, I do. So we're gonna talk, we're gonna ask them to reconsider the curb cuts. We're gonna talk about 24-hour human contact. We're gonna talk about scheduled plan. We're gonna talk about noise mitigation. We're gonna talk about limiting overnight construction. We're gonna talk about
Limit overnight and weekend.
weekend
Weekend is
construction.
very big, like Sunday morning,
I
6
understand,
a.m.
and those are special granted by DOB or whatever anyway, or not DOB, is it DOB who grants those?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna ask them to develop a relationship with DSS to think more broadly about the community. We're gonna talk about expanding the security perimeter. We're gonna, separately or in this, but talk to DOT about whether, they would need a separate hotel loading zone to help with traffic along the 55th Street corridor. Okay, so what is this? Is this an approval with conditions or is it the deny unless?
I'd say it's a deny unless.
I have to say, I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Okay, well, I think
Because-
that otherwise, no one's gonna listen to us.
Because some of the,
Here on this, with this,
I think we can have it both ways. We can have it both ways. We can't ask the developer to do things that neither the zoning nor DCP can have them do.
why not?
No, I'm saying we can do that. But we can't ask them to do that and say, we're gonna deny your application.
Why not?
Because these are not things we're asking them to be a good citizen. These are not things the zoning or the law asks them to do.
We can deny outright, so why can't we
guess-
deny with conditions? Of course we can.
I guess my concern is, we have heard a very strong voice from this community tonight, very strong. We don't normally get this much public input, so this is quite unusual, and I think we have to take it seriously.
Thank you.
I strongly disagree. I think we should approve it with the conditions that you lay out. First of all, when we get public comment, it doesn't necessarily mean it's representative. I didn't hear from a single person who would benefit from the disability access that we're going to get, but of course, that's a major benefit. We
No, we
mostly
did
heard
hear
from,
someone who was disabled. That's not true.
But that was
We
about
heard
the
from two
different
people.
stuff.
that's
That was a
about
different-
the
that's a
50
different-
street stations, what I mean, and that's clearly a major public benefit. I think, and I also agree with Ron's point, we are asking them to be better citizens. So in exchange for that, we should approve it with the conditions that we outlined.
Oh, sorry. Let's come back to this. I do want to include, I like what Kevin said of like, I understand it doesn't pencil out in this neighborhood, but I like saying something to DCP of like, hey, like they're making the choice that they're allowed to make, but you
not
sort
really a
of
choice.
predicted
There were a
wrong.
bigger carrot in the zoning.
Yeah, so, sorry, I want to put
Carrot's
that
not
in.
big enough, but the
Right.
carrot's big enough for the.
Carrot isn't big enough, right? So I'm sorry, Kevin, I think that's important. to include. So-
Carrot is
And I
big enough
recognize,
for
too,
the.
It's a little bit of a
Transit.
unique animal because they slid in with the hotel exception.
Right, with the permanent
Like, it
21,
might not have been
right.
that tall
Right.
without the hotel exception.
Um,
Anyway, so
And,
maybe
and,
DCP won't care,
Okay.
but.
and also
we're
to
throwing it in.
Anchor's point, we don't know, they can't tell us what they are, giving the to MTA, what that cost is. And we don't know what the monetary benefit to them is of these extra 19 stories. Maybe the public's getting $1 and they're getting $99, or maybe the public is getting $99 and they're only getting $1. I suspect it's quite otherwise.
Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to ask everyone to just raise their hand informally, deny, how many would vote for deny unless?
We
Just raise your-
quickly, we quickly summarize what are the unless,
Yeah, do you want me to do it again?
just,
Sorry, okay.
there was a lot. Yeah.
Yes, there are gonna be a lot. Not have 3 curb cuts on the street side, the 24-hour ombudsman or whatever we want to call that, someone that the neighborhood can get in touch with, a human. Understanding a clear plan for the construction and development, noise mitigation, limiting overnight and weekend construction as much as possible. Asking the developer to meet with DSS about homelessness in the community. Ask them to consider their security perimeter larger than just like the development site. Asking DOT to rethink or not grant a hotel loading zone outside that circular driveway if they are gonna have that circular driveway. And your point about the carrot not being big enough to DCP, those would be the.
I would just like to say that every contractor must file something they call a site safety plan with the Department of Building. So
Yes.
those plans are filed, but they are not often shared with the community. I would like the site safety
Fine.
plan to be shared with the
Right.
community.
Right.
Kevin, just very quickly, do you think it makes sense for Kevin's point to be a separate letter?
Could be. I mean, we're
Yeah, I think that's a separate letter. I wouldn't put
Okay.
it in the design unless.
I mean, we're
because it doesn't
putting-
make
Yeah,
sense.
it's
putting
not
it
an
to
un-
DOT. in
yeah.
here.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'll make a note of it as separate.
Just quickly on the deny unless point, I don't hear anything in those unless items that are so economically punishing that they would offset the balance that they're gonna get from the
Yeah.
added floor area ratio to offset the cost of the subway. Like the benefit is already.
So you're in deny unless.
So the question,
Yeah,
so the
sorry.
question,
Preview,
the phrase, the way you're phrasing it is what's the value to this developer for 18 stories?
19.
Versus the cost of the
Versus
subway.
the cost of the subway, one-time subway
Right.
versus, well, but the developer is probably gonna flip everything anyway, right?
Yeah.
He's not gonna hold on to it.
Sure.
I mean, yes,
He's gonna.
I would just say
he's gonna
quickly-
Build it and flip it and get his investment
So
out.
the cost of asking for the cutouts and some extra staff and monitoring, to them, it's.
yeah, I mean, the flip side of that is that effectively when you frame this as a deny unless is that if the developer does all of these things, sorry.
Who's the chair of this
If the
committee?
developer, if the developer does all of these things, but does not expand the security perimeter, let's say. That's the one thing they don't do. We are effectively denying this application.
This drive-in.
Just to be clear.
This is one thing I like, this whole idea of a drive-in loading on and off for people. I mean, that is so counterintuitive to the terrorism strikes that we have, you know, that most of them are now bollarded away. You cannot
Right.
drive a car or a truck
Right.
in under a building. It's
Anyway.
a terror, I mean, it's just ludicrous that.
Can we go back to can we go back to your straw poll?
Okay,
So deny unless,
how many would vote for deny unless?
Mike's on the fence.
Yeah.
Very close.
Where's your hand? You're not gonna do deny unless?
Deny,
So
deny.
he's gonna vote no to anything, it sounds like.
You know, one more point that you brought up that speaks to the question of the garbage pickup. So you've got a 71-story building. Is all the garbage being picked up by private trucks or entering the building, and it's done that? I live across the street from a 70-story building. The garbage pickup takes from about 10 o'clock PM to about 4 or 5 AM.
Well, it's gonna be the city for the residential, and it's going to be a private hauler, an
Right.
overnight, midnight to 4 AM.
Would be that
Private
for-
hauler for the hotel,
So they're both going on through the night.
Okay, so let's go back to the straw poll.
and it's almost 8 o'clock.
1, 2, 3,
I'll vote with
4.
deny.
Wait, what is this?
This is deny unless, so 5, so that's the majority.
Unless we're
So-
just
so-
taking the teeth out, we may as well.
So the majority is,
Do
the
anything.
majority is deny unless, I kind of want to move on, so I'll do deny unless as well. So I will make a motion for a deny unless with all of the things that I've just stated now 3 times for this application.
We will not have
Second.
any, I would just like to say that we will not have any teeth with anyone unless we do deny unless.
I mean,
It won't even be read.
Right. I just feel like the developer's getting such a great deal.
Absolutely.
With so many floors.
Yeah.
for the
Deal.
one-time cost of the building.
Model solution.
It's also important because it will give these agencies an opportunity to negotiate with Xtel. Xtel is probably gonna still get some of the stuff, but we've come on with a powerful statement. It will help mitigate some of the things we're asking for, not all.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get all.
No one's saying
No.
don't build it.
No.
We're just asking for.
Well,
some
so-
stuff.
No, I'm saying build the 53 stories.
Yeah, shall we vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ankur?
No.
Ankur's a no. Kevin?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tristan?
Yes.
You're on.
Yes,
Bernal?
Yes.
Lul?
I'm a deny, but I believe that's a yes.
No, that's a no.
No.
I'm afraid it's a yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Ankur.
Cool.
9-1.
Okay.
But it's a steal.
Next application.
And I don't know what politicians they don't know.
What we could do is we can take a look at the current zoning resolutions that we have and the bonuses and come together and work on changing them over the next probably 10 years.
But you know what we could do? We could be more proactive rather than waiting for these applications come from Xtel and the ilk. We could be proactive and talk about social housing and write resolutions about that and support for, I was at the Furman Center this morning, no one else from this committee was there, and unfortunately, you know, one of the new deputy mayors. There is so much that we can be doing, and with this new administration, we have some progressive insight where we could be doing this. Let's be proactive in terms of housing crisis, of affordability, homelessness, affordable.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, now let's.
I know
we have
that.
10
I
we have
know
10
that.
to
Thank
8,
you,
so,
Chair.
Thank you, committee.
Now we're
Yeah,
gonna
let's
go, you're welcome. Now we're gonna go to 1633 Broadway. Do we have a presenter for that? Yes, Jeff,
Hello, can you hear me?
you're presenting 1633 Broadway?
Yes.
Okay, great. So
Okay.
this is an application by LPV Holdings, WV LLC. the owner and operator of La Pecora Bianca for a fifth modification of a special permit granted in 1968. The modification will allow an outdoor cafe in a portion of the Pops surrounding the Paramount Building. The property is located in the C6-3 Commercial District in the Theater Subdistrict of the Special Midtown District. And I would just like to say that we, back in May of 2023, we passed a resolution that was deny unless and until the applicant agrees to open public seating, signage, and bathroom availability. So that has been our previous ruling and decision on this application. So Julie, do you have anything you want to say before we go? Okay, let's start with Jeff.
Okay. You can see the presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So good evening. I'm Jeff Mulligan, a planner with HSF Kramer, representing LPB Holdings WV LLC, the owner and operator of La Pecora Bianca. And the application is a non-ULURP modification to a special permit to allow an open-air cafe and a privately owned public space at 1633 Broadway, which is on Broadway between West 50th and 51st Streets. Just a little background. Two special permits were granted in 1968, one to modify height, setback, and tower regulations, the other to increase floor area in exchange for providing two new theaters as part of the development. The special permits facilitated the development of a 48-story office building with the two theaters and retail space, and the privately owned public spaces include plazas on all three street frontages and a through-block pedestrian arcade and a vehicular driveway. The public spaces were provided to meet the findings in the special permit related to the floor area bonus in exchange for the new theaters. And as stated here, the finding was whether open spaces, arcades, subsurface concourses, or subway connections are provided to ease congestion in the area by aiding in the circulation of pedestrians or vehicles. So what was provided was the at-grade plazas, as well as the arcade and the through-block pedestrian connection. So the plaza is shown, this is the site. The plaza area is shown within the blue boundary. So the majority of the plaza fronts on Broadway, called the East Plaza, and then there's two narrow strips along 50th Street and along 51st Street. And the proposed cafe would be located on the 50th Street frontage for about half the width of the plaza strip. And as the chair just mentioned, two other cafes have been approved at this location. Those two were on 51st Street. So this is a new location on 50th Street. Just to take you through some photos, this is 50th Street, where the proposed cafe will be located. It will essentially be located where the pavement becomes a darker color. So sidewalk obviously will be maintained, but the cafe will be located from where the planters are to the building facade. So this is 50th Street. A couple of photos showing the plaza along Broadway. And then some photos showing on the upper left, this is the plaza fronting on Broadway, and then two photos of the narrow portions of the plaza along 51st Street. This slide shows the proposed cafe here on 50th Street. Again, it occupies about half of the length of the plaza strip on 50th. Zooming in a bit, again, the tables and chairs between the planters up to the building facade. And of course, it's seasonal. So this is how it will look without the tables and chairs. And the request, as is typical for open air cafes, is for a 3-year term. And with that, I'll turn it over to the committee and happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Julie Chu is our lead committee member on this, and questions from the committee. to Jeff.
I'm just gonna start, thanks Jeff for coming to our committee. So we have like 3 typical questions we usually ask for our POPs reapplications.
Yeah.
So I'll just start, and I don't know if you were here for 3 years ago, but we wrote a reso where we asked for signage on the table saying that these seats are free for the public to use. So we always ask the developer, is this acceptable? And you can always, get back to us, but we need a response before full board, which is
We need a response before executive committee.
executive committee.
Which is,
We need a response before executive committee to these 3 questions.
which is May 5th.
May 5th.
Yeah.
Before May 5th.
So that's one, and then the second one is access to bathroom facilities, so any existing bathrooms in the building that could be opened up to the public or potentially an easement in the open space that you would allow DOT to install automated public toilets. So that's something if you could review with the development team. And the third one, what's our third one? What am I missing here? Is there another one?
Open public seating, signage.
Well,
And
you were
it's-
talking
and
about
sign-
that. Well, you did signage about the tables, but there's signage about that.
And signage about the bathrooms, too,
That's probably like that where it is and that's.
Yeah.
okay? What about any of those 3 things?
So I am aware of the committee's conditions, and I did speak with the applicant prior to presenting, and they did say that they would not be able to meet those conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Any of those conditions, even
So-
signage?
None of them is gonna be acceptable.
They can't put signage up. saying
Yeah,
it's
I did speak with them about it, and that's correct.
This happened in the last 3 years. Okay, so that makes our work a lot easier. So what we did in our last application is we recommended denial unless the applicant agrees to open public seating, signage, and bathroom availability. So,
That's the motion.
I mean,
Ask the question.
Michael has a question. Go ahead.
And is there anybody representing the property owner on the call?
I'm representing the property owner.
Okay. It's not related to the open air cafe, but related to the property. There's a tunnel between the 50th Street C&E station and the 50th Street 1 station that goes along 50th Street, right next to your property under the sidewalk. Do you know if that's gonna be reopened or is that causing any problems underneath the sidewalk cafe?
That I don't know. And actually, I should clarify, I am representing the restaurant, not the property owner. So,
Okay.
so yeah, there's.
Can you say who the property owner is?
I know it's I offhand, I do not know. Offhand, I do.
Okay.
Okay, so, any other questions? Because I think what Julie is proposing is we just stay with the same deny unless and with the same conditions because it's a POPs and we require these things.
I second that motion.
Okay,
great.
so all in favor?
Yes. We're all.
Oh, okay, great.
I
Thank
think you
you,
need to
guys.
vote.
No,
You need a roll
we
call
can't vote by hand.
Okay, Seth,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Kevin,
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Kristen.
Yes.
You're on,
Yes.
Myrtle
Yes.
and Zool.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So 9-0, but that's quorum, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Form's
form.
not- yeah.
Yep, okay. So,
And we have.
done with that, we have something called, yeah, we have something called Retread, which is a presentation from a nonprofit, newly forming nonprofit called Rethread. And they're seeking support for city council funding. They would like our letter helping them. It's a nonprofit initiative focused on strengthening New York City's fashion and costume industries through education, skills training, and the acquisition of stable, affordable production space in the Garment District. And our lead committee member to this is Michael Greeley. Michael, do you have anything you want to say, or do you just want to go to the presentation?
Let's start the presentation.
Okay, so, Fred, you're up.
Hi.
Tell us about what you have.
Hello, thank you all. I will actually pull up my screen and share, but we have had some very, very positive conversations with a lot of folks in regards to this. It kind of came as a direct correlation from MSMX, which you guys are all very familiar with, and trying to find stable and affordable space for the costume and fashion industries. Adam, do you want to speak while I get this pulled up?
Sure. I'll introduce myself, and in a way, that's a good intro to this. So, Adam Friedman, I'm an advisor to this project. I worked at the Board of Estimate when the special district was created, and was subsequently asked to help launch the Garment Industry Development Corporation. This is like in the late 80s, so it's kind of like bookends for me. And what we're trying to do here is develop a strategy, a different method of how to protect space for production, for fashion production, for costume production, for design. First, because this ecosystem is important in itself, but think of all the other industries that are dependent on it today. You know, in Broadway, in film, in television. It's this extraordinary sort of cluster that gives these industries their energy, their vitality. I just want to say, so I've then ran a number of nonprofits, worked for a number of borough presidents, but I then ran the Pratt Center for Community Development. And in that organization was very engaged around community-based planning and how do we provide the technical assistance for communities to realize their values, to see their vision implemented. And as we get into the presentation, I think that what we're trying to do here really embodies a lot of the values and the vision of this community board. So with that, take it away.
And I should say I'm Carissa Kelly, and I am a costume designer for 25 years. So I've, run and managed budgets of large scales, small scales. I started in regional theater. I've worked in off Broadway. I've assisted on Broadway, and now I predominantly work in film. So, and I'm also a very proud 829 local union member. So a lot of this also has started out of the resource and the lack of resources that we presume that we have in the city that we don't actually kind of have, and maintaining and bolstering those that we do. A lot of that also is tied to workforce development and apprenticeships, which I will speak to, that in my particular field, there aren't that many there aren't many places to track for that. So this is an ongoing passion to stabilize this industry. So I'm a nonprofit. I started in 2023 and have run some very successful junior apprenticeship programs inside the costume shops inside New York City. And we have, I can share this with everybody. You guys have seen this, but we are supported by Martin Scorsese. Greta Lee, we've got some unions behind us, and we're here, of course, asking for your guys' support as well as we continue our goal of reaching city funding. Adam,
Yeah, so
go for it.
The reason for looking for even mentioning those people is to sort of begin to illustrate that there's this consensus emerging that for the industries to remain, they really have to own their own space. We know housing is really important. That's, one of the highest priorities of the city, of this community board. But in the past, the way the zoning's been structured, it sort of pits housing against jobs. And what we're trying to do here is come up with a different mechanism so that you can protect the jobs and allow the surrounding area to evolve and develop more housing. Once you have control of the space through ownership or through equity or through these other means, then you don't have to have the protective special district zoning, which has inhibited the evolution of the district.
And we're fully and understanding of the fact that MSMX, the way it was presented, and the 39 buildings that were carved out have created some friction. And we're here to help solve and alleviate that friction. We're seeking between 300 and 500,000 square feet that we hope to be below market rates, and would be a nonprofit driven management structure that Adam can also speak to, because there are quite a few amongst the cities.
Sure. So what we're picking up, or we're trying to expand a well-proven model. First of all, on the industrial side, you have the Greenpoint Manufacturing and Design Center, the Brooklyn Navy Yard, Evergreen. These are nonprofits that manage industrial space. I'm on the board of the Navy Yard, and one of the virtues or one of the benefits of having that type of management structure is the curation of the tenants. We look for high road tenants. The board of directors votes on every single tenancy to ensure that that there's synergy between the companies to ensure that they work with the community around employment and that they're high road employers. In affordable housing, who builds affordable housing in the city? Nonprofit organizations have built 123,000 units of affordable housing. So we're trying to take that model and apply it here. And in your district, on your doorstep, is Building for the Arts, which has helped revitalize Broadway theater, nonprofit management of space. So we're trying to use those models to solve this problem.
We envision this is a building. We have looked at some specific buildings. It does not have to be this building. Like I said, we're looking for 300,000 to 500,000 square feet. But inside is an idea of multiple hundreds of small businesses. We would love there to be a garment exploratorium, an interactive museum of some kind. I don't know if any of you guys saw the exhibit Showstoppers that was done during the pandemic by the Costume Industry Coalition. But it had metrics taken from a woman who gauges museum exhibits, and it outperformed anything that she'd done in 20 years. And the key to that is that it actually was very interactive in terms of pulling folks in where you had makers in space. So the idea would be to pull in the history and pull on and showcase not only costumes, but fashion and the impact, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. All of these buildings were purpose built. There's just a ton of history inside this district that we feel like we could really create a center that will pull tourism, will bring people back into this industry. And, the city has also been talking about Industrial 5.0. We've invested a lot of money in terms of, jobs where people needed master's degrees, and we're not working towards that. So inside the building would be all of these maker spaces, these design spaces, this beautiful stuff that you see on the runway, the Met Galas in a couple of weeks. I know tons of shops that are making stuff for those and utilizing the district for all of these goods. I've had some successful apprenticeship programs, and I'm working with the state on a 2,000-hour costume track apprenticeship program, state certified apprenticeship program, that we would also hope to be inside and flourishing inside this building. In addition to, most of the workers are women. This is an immigrant, generally speaking, has been an immigrant community, and a track into middle class life inside New York. So highlighting all of those pieces, and, we all need childcare. I have a 6-year-old, who doesn't want to have an interactive place where you can also drop your child off, and bringing a vitality to the district that we haven't really ever seen before. And showcasing, like I said, all of what the creative economy is in New York and what it can be and what it should be. And the Garment District is not there by chance. It's, Broadway is where it is because of the Garment District. FIT is where it is because of the Garment District. It's a well-established ecosystem that is interdependent on each other. So
this is just to give you an idea of what's involved in this. These numbers are based on this real building that's on the market and has been on the market and vacant for several years. It may not be this building, but this is a description. This is some insight into today's market conditions and what renovation costs would be. And down the road, we're not asking for this today, but down the road, we're going to be looking for capital funding from the city, from the state, to close the gap so that the if we buy it at market rate, it's going to remain affordable for the fashion and costume industry. We'll probably be using tax credits, conventional debt, and there may be some philanthropic components to it as well.
Yes. And we're in phase one, and I will speak that we've had very, very promising conversations with a whole bunch of folks. You know, we shouldn't really hedge all of our bets yet, but
Yeah, we don't want to jinx anything by being too positive.
we don't, but we're making a lot of headway and speaking to a lot of city and state folks, as well as a whole bunch of the city and state agencies, other community boards, and you know, the players, the bids in the district as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our
That's the
presentation.
wrap. Yeah.
That's-
Please.
You guys have questions?
Oh, yeah. So
Actually, Nancy, it's really for you. I love this. I'm a member of the Directors Guild of America, but currently the artistic director and co-founder of an itinerant, unique kind of talk-back company. So I want to make sure that I don't have a conflict of interest in voting on a resume.
It's all self-determined.
No.
Nancy can't determine
Yeah,
that.
no,
for
you have to decide whether or not, I mean, are you making money from your connection?
We're a nonprofit.
Okay, then you're not making, if you're not financial, and Michael's,
But also, that's
No,
not
it's
for
not.
any of us to determine. It's
no,
for you.
no,
to
it's for you to decide,
Thank you.
but it's based on whether or not you're getting,
Yeah.
financial remuneration from your connection with this, and that voting for it would put money in your pocket. That's
Yeah.
what it's really about.
Yeah. Okay.
So like if I
Yes.
was the architect and I was hired and
Yeah.
I would vote for this, that would be a no-no.
No, I'm,
Okay, all right,
I'm,
okay.
a
Okay,
volunteer.
so, Michael, thank you.
So in 2018, there was the Special Garment Center District rezoning, and the city, through the New York City Economic Development Corporation, had $20 million to buy a building, at least 500,000 square feet, and it never happened.
Right.
So how is this different, and how is this actually going to be accomplished?
I was very involved in that rezoning, and the way EDC structured the opportunity, right? They issued an RFP for somebody to come in with a proposal to buy a building and preserve it in this way. Because they required 500,000 square feet, but only had $20 million, that resulted in a cap of how much gap they could close. And it was just totally unrealistic. You know, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it worked out to like $25 a foot subsidy. Just not realistic. And we really tried to make it work. And you may even know some of the, I'm sure you all know some of the people that we brought in to look at it. And it was just like the market conditions at that point in our history just did not permit it. You know, and I'll just to expand on that, the city has offered a number of tax incentives for owners to preserve space. Again, the way those tax incentives are structured, the owner bears all the risk. And it's just inconceivable to me that an owner would do that. So we've tried to come up with vehicles that that combine a number of different types of financing plus a mission driven, so that the market, we can accommodate the market in that way.
And so now with the MSMX, city council put in, well, it was a total 450 million, but only 120 million of that is for support and preservation of the garment district, fashion industries. And I don't know if they would give you everything, but how much are you looking for from that 120 million?
Let me tell you, we sort of skipped through the process phase where we are today. We're in the pre-development phase. So we're doing the financial analysis to figure out what that gap is, and which would be closed by city capital, by state capital, by the sale of the tax credits. I haven't really heard about the 120 million.
I actually can
Yeah.
speak to that. A lot of that was what they projected was from the IDA program, and then they included the $50 million for the Greenlight Innovation Fund. But that
So none of
application,
that none of that has resulted in funding. That
Yes. So
perhaps it was they did not communicate it well.
yes, but we're still in conversation, and we spoke with Botcher as a senator just last week around these commitments and holding everybody accountable. I did submit into EDC the Green Light application. We didn't have control of site. It was all too quick for something of this scale to get pulled together. But we've been in a lot of contact with EDC and other folks around this. So and there's a lot of goodwill about seeing this through and figuring out and understanding that it has not succeeded and learning from what didn't work in the pre-existing rezonings and how to fix it for this one.
Okay.
Other questions?
Comment?
I have a question. May I? This is Lev. Yeah,
Yes, Lev.
I'm sorry if I missed this. What are your projected purchase price of that 300 to 500,000 square foot building would be, you think?
205 million.
No, that's
That-
that's
200
total project cost. The purchase price is like
Pull up your
90.
slide. Can you pull up your slide again?
Yes.
We're the purchase price is 90 and the renovation cost I think is 105 or 100.
No, we have it at 100 and we have 15 costs. Once
Do we have a copy of this?
Yes.
Sure.
So you're gonna buy this building for 90 million, which is how many square feet? Rough. I'm just saying, like, right? It doesn't have to be this building.
There's no actual building lab. This is projected.
Right. I just wanna like understand, even if it's possible to purchase a building for what is it?
The slide says 685 per square foot.
Yeah.
This is a pro
Oh,
forma.
Right.
What you're trying
Yeah.
to, what you're
I
proposing,
see.
you're not, yeah.
685 a foot. Got it. Okay, got it.
Lev, you know a building?
I was gonna say, if
No,
you guys know something, let us know.
No, but,
You
but
wanna
how
donate
did
a building.
how did you arrive to 685? I'm just curious.
You get a
You know,
building for a
you know
dollar.
any buildings, Lev, the Garment Center?
Yeah,
MS
so
Yeah,
no,
this
there,
is
there
a
might be.
this is a building that's on the market today.
Yes, it is. And the price has actually gone down since our initial projections. Everything is sort of in flux, however, and we have not had part of what we're asking City Council for is seed and development costs so that we can actually do real engineering studies of a specific site to get a more accurate number. However, I've toured this particular building and there were architects that looked at it and we all roughly came up with around $100 million in renovations.
So how much money are you asking for from City Council for your seed money? Did you tell us that?
No.
Don't. Oh, for the seed money, 250.
Yeah.
250. Yeah.
250, they're asking for 250,000 from the city to begin studies and you're on.
I would love to make a motion saying that the city should give the $250,000.
I would support that.
Yeah.
If I had to vote, I would support that too. But right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you'll be
like
able to
that.
on board.
A question for Carissa and Adam. Carissa, you mentioned that you guys just met with Eric Botcher, and I was at the inauguration and also at the Manhattan Borough President's inauguration. Both of them committed to new funding for the arts and reiterated that several times. So your discussion with Botcher, go see Mark as well.
And I think I would like to add, I'm a woman-owned business, Julie's a woman-owned business, and this is very supportive of women-owned businesses in the city. And Brad just had a big thing at the Roosevelt House regarding women-owned businesses, so he is focusing on that. So this all sits very well with me. I'm sure it does with Julie as well. So we're gonna vote yes.
Yeah.
Right, Julie? Motion?
Yeah, I made a motion it was about the 250, but I think obviously the resolution could be more expensive.
I think it should be 500,000.
Fine.
Well, let's start with 500,000.
Great.
But isn't Mike doing, if Mike's doing the reso, so let's have him.
Yes.
Can I ask one more question?
Oh, okay, sorry.
The buildings are you looking at is in that donut hole,
Yeah.
the 39, not out, and the rest of
39, yeah.
the northwest quadrant?
Yeah.
We have been
Okay.
focusing on the 39 buildings in the carve out. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Particularly the
And,
ones that are
I
not
think
suitable.
the other thing that's really important to me is the things in the past have failed, and yet we still carved out these buildings. So we need to find a program that we can support and be behind, because this was very important in our MSMX and our points of agreement. So
And we're
Yeah.
serious about, if you know, buildings, like we're
Yeah.
focused on
Yeah.
this one, but you know, it doesn't have to be one building. It could be two buildings. It could be three buildings, focusing on the ones that are not suitable for residential development. right?
Yeah, and that's what I
Floor
was,
plates, the windows.
right, and I was gonna say that, I mean, you don't need to just look in that area that was not rezoned. Because some of these buildings that are gonna stay office buildings regardless, they would not be coming down anyway from our studies. So you should be looking outside of that. What I'm saying is you could look in the buildings where it was rezoned, and maybe there's a play to do affordable housing in combination with what you want to do ground up. I don't know.
Can I speak to that for a second, though? It's
Sure.
an issue is the sequencing. You know, you
Uh-huh.
have to do this piece first, and then you can do what you want with the housing. We're very supportive of affordable housing. Julie
course.
and Nancy directed us to some folks. We've begun those discussions. You know,
And
but
as
it's
long as we
important
have some
you
more-
don't want to inflate the price, you know, but you don't want to bid
But I
against
would like-
yourself.
But I would like to see this in the 39 buildings that were held back, because
I see.
because we supported that, we really think that those are the buildings that need to be considered for this. And it is in the Garment Center, and it's the proximity to all the activity that's going on other places in the Garment Center that is so important to this center.
The problem with that, I agree with you, Nancy. The problem with that is now a lot of those businesses naturally going to be moving to that area. So, you know, those buildings going to get naturally valued higher because of competitiveness of the space, right? So I don't know. I think it's strategy that you just need to keep
Oh,
your
that's
eyes
interesting.
open.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we should go ahead and write this letter. I think we should go ahead and write this letter and focus on this. And then I think you should come back to us in a month and tell us how it's going and check in on us periodically so we can offer you more help, right? Everyone agrees?
Even 3 months.
3 months,
Not
3
a
months,
month.
3
Yeah.
months. Cool.
Yeah, so Mike, you're writing the Rizzo.
Yeah.
So if you would make the motion, but I just want to point out, I was at a panel at NYU Furman this morning on developing a New York City-owned land, and the new deputy mayor, the housing and planning, Leila Borzov, was there, as well as Lindsay Green, who you guys might know, president of the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and they were very insightful. So that might be a couple of good people to talk to. The new deputy mayor is brilliant.
Yeah,
Michael.
thank you. Okay, Michael.
So I would like to make a motion in support of the applicant to do the 250,000 for the seed money to study a plan.
Second.
Second. 500.
Yeah.
500,000?
Yeah.
Second.
Right.
You need 2 seconds to make it 500,000.
And it'll be a little more expensive that we support their efforts. We hope they find a play.
All right, minimum 500.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean, I mean that, like, we support the mission, things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's throw money the city doesn't have around.
Great.
Exactly.
Is there a second?
The women.
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
seconds.
the women
Everyone's-
part.
But can I ask a question? And maybe it's not for me to say. Do you need 500,000? I mean, I'm just saying. I think 250 is a lot of money.
5 million.
It does.
No, I understand. This is for. Do you need to really $500,000 to do the study and get you progress in finding a site, or I don't know. I think 250,000 is a lot of money.
For a
So I don't think we
$205
should.
million project?
It's just
No,
a
Well,
study.
we're
To
going to come
do the
back to you a year
preliminary-
from now for capital funding. This
Right.
is the seed grant money. This is
This
to
is
do
the
the,
seed grant. That's
Let's
right.
not get bogged down in it. Yeah.
Stick to your app.
The number doesn't matter. It's like.
Yeah.
So second?
We're just supporters.
Second.
Okay, Seth,
Yes.
I'm a
know.
yes. Kevin,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tristan?
Yeah.
You're on?
Yeah.
Myrtle
Yes.
and Bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Motion
Great,
passed.
thank you.
Thank
You know, keep, whenever you do, I don't know the sequencing or the timing for this district needs statement, but maybe we can talk before then so that
It's a great idea.
it's in,
Okay.
it's in
That
there.
would be great.
That's a great idea.
Great,
So
yeah.
that'll get going in a couple months. So over the summer, it would be good to talk to the committee that puts it together. That's a great idea.
Excuse me, Mike, can you include that in the reso? That we want to add something in the district needs statement about this? An addendum, okay, good.
I'm on the budget committee.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
great, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Stay in touch with Isabel and Marisa. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Take
luck.
care, thank you.
Break a leg.
Good luck. This is exciting.
Break a
Thank
leg.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I think, is this Tristan's last committee meeting?
No.
No?
Next.
So you
Yes,
would,
another
No,
side.
next cycle. Next cycle.
will you be a full board? Oh, okay, all right, all
I'm not
right.
going to-
We'll have a cake.
Maybe, might be, in case it is,
Someone told me the appointment process is very much delayed.
it is.
So.
So you're gonna be around for a while.
What is that?
The appointment process is a bit delayed.
Oh, it is?
It is?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I'll explain.
Because they're not being handpicked like the last.
I haven't received my interview time slot.
Me either.
Are we?
Oh, you're up too?
Adjourned?
Adjourned, yes, we're adjourned.
Would this be your last term?
No.
Well, yeah,
Are you
we're
term
we're
limited?
term limited, right? Just three.
I don't
No,
know.
she's not permanent.
No, she's not from one, I mean, are you, where,
You were all term